Hey friends, Ken Smith here, and you're watching Transforming Lives. You probably have noticed if you've been watching the news or even looking at the newspaper that one thing that is certain is that we are living in a world that is full of confusion. With the COVID-19 crisis that's going around the world, many people are confused. One day you might hear one report saying you should wear a mask, another day saying you shouldn't have on a facial mask, one day saying you should have on gloves and be social distance within a few feet, the next day saying you should not be wearing gloves and not even worry about it. You see, confusion is something that's taking place, and in fact, it causes anxiety with so many people. I want to let you know today is that I'm not only seeing confusion in the world, but sadly, I've seen, based on some of the posts on Facebook and other social media platforms, confusion even in the church when it comes to COVID-19. It reminds me of what the Apostle Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. You see, God is not the author of confusion. And so when we have people that give different reports and we get confused about different things in this world and we're left in a state of anxiety, God is not part of that. And so why would I even bring that up about COVID-19 and the church? Well, there's some debate. When should you go back to church? When should you go back? And when you do, how should you have church? I know the local church that I'm pastor of, we have done different approaches of sharing the gospel. We had a FM transmitter radio, and we were able to transmit a broadcast sermon there that Sunday morning. Then the following weeks, we're able to have an outdoor worship service. Got on the back of my pickup truck and preached the gospel of Jesus Christ and had a PA-type speaker system set up. And then later on, we're planning to go back in the building, but being very cautious of how we do it. Now, some people, I've seen pastors attack other pastors saying, oh, you have no faith by not go ahead and going into the building and just acting as things have not changed from before, that things are just normal. And then I've seen other pastors attack the pastors going into the building and worshiping already, saying, why are you doing this? Why are you putting your people in danger? You are not being spiritually mindful of the people that you are to be the shepherd of. You see, and what happens, it causes divisions. One pastor against another, one church against another, not because of sin, but because of decision making, confusion of when you should do something. So let me give you this tip. I believe personally is that you need to come into an agreement with God Himself, with Jesus Christ, having the Holy Spirit guiding you and what decisions that you make. I understand that not everyone's going to be happy if you decide to go back into church and require everyone to wear a face mask. Not everyone's going to be happy if you decide that you're going to continue doing outdoor worship standing on the back of a pickup truck. Not everyone's going to be happy if you decided that you're going to do your messages just on YouTube or other platforms of social media. The point is this: whatever your decision is, make sure that God is before it, behind it, on top of it, underneath it, all around it. Make sure God is in that decision and it's not just yourself. Because if you are making the decision on your own based on this is my opinion, how I want things, how it should be because of how I desire this to be, then, my friends, it's just going to cause more confusion. Some folks will say, well, when we do this, let's do it this way. Well, you know, our way might not be the best way. So let's not criticize someone else. But let's make sure, regardless of what we do, and going back in the building to worship, or staying outside, or continue to do it on a radio broadcast, or just simply on Facebook or YouTube, whatever we do, make sure that God Almighty, the message of the cross, the message of the Bible, the hope of Jesus Christ, is what has covered what we're doing. So regardless of where we do it at, regardless if we're in the building, out of the building, or nowhere even near the building, that we know for a fact that Christ is involved in it. And so instead of criticizing what some other church is doing or criticizing what your own local church is doing and how they're doing it, find a reason not to have confusion. Find a reason to do what? Focus on Jesus Christ. I promise you when you do so, it will make your life so much better. And sometimes I wonder if we would just simply turn off the television and turn our attention to the Lord, then what we would see is a whole lot less confusion in the life that we are living on this side of eternity. This is Pastor Ken Smith, thanking you again for watching Transforming Lives.